Guys, that is 6,200% year-over-year revenue growth. That is incredible. What is up, Wade Trade Brigade? Today, I am so excited to be back. We're going to be going over the highlights of a conference call of an extremely high-growth company. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the call. So, Steve Ehrlich is the CEO of Voyager Digital. He's the one that opened up the call and said, quote, "I'm excited to report our best quarter ever, doubling our revenue from the previous quarter and highlighting Voyager's positioning and revenue opportunity in active markets." That is an absolutely wonderful statement to open up a conference call with. He goes on to say, "We have positioned Voyager for substantial product rollouts in calendar year 2022. We started the year 2021 calendar year with 38 employees, 43,000 funded accounts, and approximately 230 million of assets on the platform." Now, check out this next statement. This is an insane statement. It's my favorite part of the entire conference call. It says, "By the end of calendar year 2021, we had 250 employees, 3.2 million verified users, a little over 1 million funded accounts, and almost $6 billion under assets under management on the platform. This level of growth makes Voyager one of the fastest growing cryptocurrency platforms in the industry." And that revenue growth, guys, listen to this. Calendar year 2021 with 416 million in revenue, up from 6.6 million in 2020. Guys, that is 6,200% year-over-year revenue growth. That is incredible. Honestly, this is really exciting for me because I've watched Voyager Digital grow up as a company. Well, start to grow up, right? Now, in saying that, this is super exciting and I love that they're growing so much, but there is some risks to consider.
So today we will learn about the words is and are.
It's going to start seeing more regulation, but the good news is I've got some more information for you on that regulation toward the later parts of the video. Let's keep digging into this conference call here and see what Steve continued to say. He said, "Before I review our business strategy for 2022, I'd like to address the industry cycles that we witnessed in 2021. And our viewpoints on industry growth going forward as mainstream adoption and blockchain efficiency proliferate in the coming years. The crypto industry is one in which there are tremendous ebbs and flows, but as revealed by our recent survey, 66% of Americans believe that cryptocurrency will be widely accepted and grow in value over the next 5 years." Honestly, I got to agree with that. Now, one thing I want you to pay close attention here is he's actually giving us a clue, okay? Remember the risk I was talking a little bit about? The risk is that volatility, okay? And why this is a problem is that Voyager Digital has about 5 different sources of revenue, 4 or 5. And within those sources of revenue, one of those depends tremendously on volatility. The more trading volume that Voyager Digital sees, the more money they make, okay? So he's kind of giving us a gloss over hey, everything's okay, but at the same time, we got to watch this because if volatility goes down and people stop trading as much, we could lose money. So I'm going to take you through why he gave this warning and show you the actual revenues of the company. So here is the 10Q for quarter number 2, which is actually ending in 2021, December 31st, 2021, okay? So if you guys take a look at this here, look at the transaction revenue. This is what I wanted to show you. They've got transaction revenue, they've got merchant services, they've got fees from crypto and assets loan, they've got staking revenue, and they've got other revenues. Look at this here. Their total revenue was 164 million, almost 165. But look, all over half of it was 86 million in revenue, just coming from the transaction revenue. That is exactly why Steve said we need to watch out for this volatility. And there's lots of ebbs and flows within the industry, and this could actually affect our revenue. See how small their merchant services revenue is? Only 15 million. compared to 86 million for transaction revenue. And then fees from crypto assets loaned was 36 million. Okay. Now, this right here is ongoing right now with some problems with regulation. There could be some problems with that stream of income later on. But as of right now, they're fine with that income. They're not seeing any regulatory rules or regulations come in. However, staking revenue, okay, this is something that Steve Ehrlich talked about in the call that really should start accelerating and helping with replacing that transaction revenue if it were to go away. Okay, so they're really trying to focus on getting as many altcoins on the platform as they can so that people will stake them and they can get more staking coins on there and get more and more revenue from that. That's going to be a good way to diversify the company and get more revenue from other sources. Also, too, here, just a little reminder, this is just one quarter's revenue, okay? 164 million in just that quarter. I've got another really cool little nugget for you guys right here. So, shh, don't tell anybody. Everybody thinks that Voyager Digital is a money-losing company. Look what we have here. Look at that. Earnings per share. They actually went profitable this last quarter. Guys, that is huge. I cannot tell you how huge that is. Even just 1 cent, okay? 2 cents if you go to the basic, but 1 cent if you go to fully diluted, okay? That is incredible that they actually turned a profit. That's awesome. And such a young company that is focusing so heavily on growth right now, that just goes to show you the potential for this company and how massive they could grow this. Let's get back into this conference call and keep digging up all this gold we've been finding, okay? So Steve goes on to say, we're investing heavily in revenue diversification as we look to reduce our reliance on trading volumes. See, guys, that's what I was telling you about here. So Voyager's goal is to build a business with multiple revenue streams through its current trading products, yield and staking products, payment and spending products, and future NFT and lending products. This is great. Like, he gives us such a great laid out path to the types of revenues that they want to generate and the types of revenues that they want to grow. I love everything that he said here because to me, it's like we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. Everybody's heard that saying, right? It's dangerous to do that in this type of industry. So you don't want to, really any industry, you don't want to rely on one type of income, okay? And this is a great way that they are showing us they're diversifying, they're finding better streams of revenue, and not to mention, I think that it actually compounds their revenue because what happens is when they find a different source of revenue, sometimes they're actually going after a different target audience, and that could increase their bottom line of customers. Okay, this next part of the conference call is for all you crypto punks out there. So our total is up, Steve goes on to say, our total is up to 85 coins, of which we have 52 of them with crypto wallets. The large number of crypto wallets is totally significant, as well as other notable players in the industry have no or very limited wallets. We allow our customers to hold their own assets and transfer them. We have plans to trade over 100 coins in the near future. This is massive, guys. I think this is awesome customer service. This is putting the power in the customer's hands. And for anyone who's not in the crypto industry, they may not see the value of this. But man, it's wonderful news. Most platforms, they don't even have wallets. Like, actually, Robinhood just added their wallet recently. So for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, this is actually like saying you're going to go to the store and buy something. And then the store says, well, hold on, if you leave, you have to leave that stuff in this store. But if you want to take it with you somewhere, you have to sell it back to us to take it, which makes no sense. That's exactly what all these crypto brokerages were doing to the customers. I believe that they are doing the right thing. Voyager is doing the right thing by the customer here. They're giving the customer options, even if it means that they take their assets under management at Voyager and leave and go somewhere else. I think it's the way that great companies operate. Like Costco, they always do the right thing by the customer. Amazon always does the right thing by the customer. Chick-fil-A, the list goes on. These top tier companies that do the right thing end up doing way better in the long run. Now, Steve goes on to say, our near-term roadmap includes a desktop version of the app. That's great, right? A dark moon mode to the mobile app. So dark mode, that's awesome. Stock orders. Hey, dynamic and tiered pricing and swap functionality with the expectation that the desktop and dark mode will be rolled out in the March quarter. That's great, guys. So this has so much great information in it. All of these new features are great. However, the one that really sticks out to me, he talks about actually adding stocks to the brokerage. He literally says it right here, stock orders. That's fantastic. That just opens up so much more customers that can come into the Voyager digital ecosystem. I think that's not even the biggest part. Really, what I think is even bigger than that is the fact that he just slides it in right here. He says you can actually do dynamic and tiered pricing and swap functionality. What is he talking about there? He's talking about being able to take a cryptocurrency and swap it out for a stock. That's great. You can actually go straight from a stock to a cryptocurrency. There's no, you have to sell everything just to get into something else. I also believe that all brokerages will eventually go this way. I think this is going to be one of the Robinhood moments, where lots of brokerages ended up following Robinhood on things that they did. I think this is going to be a great following moment. I think all the brokerages are going to end up offering swapping. I think it's going to be huge. Now Steve is going to start talking about some of the staking. Voyager continues to focus on staking enhancements. We added additional custodians, which are necessary to expand the coins for staking. See, opening up more coins for staking. As the number of points available for staking increases, staking revenue will continue to grow, and the expectation that it will become larger and larger part of our overall revenue. That's the expectation. I think it's a great key that Steve makes. Again, I know I'm bragging on them a lot, guys, but this was a wonderful conference call. It was so reassuring as a shareholder. And I do believe that staking is a very healthy source of revenue for the company. I feel like it's going to be a lot more steady. It's not going to be near as volatile, and it'll be a lot more steady and growing. So in this part of the conference call, Steve goes into talking about the new Voyager Digital debit card. Now, he explains a lot of things about this and why exactly it's different from the other debit cards. So I know if you're anything like me, you've been on YouTube, you've been on the internet, and you've been bombarded with, hey, get my credit card, get my credit card, get my credit card, or excuse me, not credit card, debit card. And these people, they just want you to get their debit card. Well, he's going to go into depth here and show you exactly why Voyager has the upper hand. He goes on to say the debit card is unique in nature by providing an up to 9% annual rewards. And it's based on holding USDC, not fiat currency. The card has a banking routing number and an account number. So individuals can actually direct deposit their paycheck and utilize it in place of a bank account. We also anticipate allowing customers early access to their paycheck, similar to many of the neobanks. I think this is a pretty cool thing, okay? So first of all, two things here. First of all, I think it's wonderful that they're able to get a 9% annual rewards. Also, I've noticed that it's actually held in USDC, is what he said. And some people, I've seen both sides of it. Some people love holding their assets in USDC or their cash in USDC. But there's still a lot of people that are not comfortable with that. And maybe that's something to consider before you get this debit card. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying maybe that's something to consider. Think about what's best for you and figure out if you're okay with holding your money in USDC, if that's comfortable for you. If you are, go for it. Great. You could take advantage of awesome rewards. However, I think that there's a lot of people that may not trust that system just yet and still want to hold cash in their account rather than USDC. Another thing about this debit card is, I think what makes it so special is that it's actually not just a debit card. So what most debit cards do in the industry is that they have a debit card and then you load cash onto that debit card and then use it as you need it, but you have to reload it. And this one's different. It has its own account, so you can operate within the account and then use the card to access the account. So it's very different than the other cryptocurrency debit cards on the market right now. Not to mention, they have a waiting list of over 200,000 people wanting this debit card. The next thing Steve goes into right here is really cool. Okay, I've seen one other company so far do this. Now, there may be more out there, but I just don't know of them. But I've seen one company do this, and it's actually M1 Finance, if you guys know of that one. They have a really cool perk on their debit card. So the next thing Steve goes into right here, it is super cool. So Steve goes in to explain that the product will also be connected to the Voyager digital loyalty program, which is also in the process of being expanded. Listen carefully. And we envision adding broader consumer rewards from popular merchants as well. The plan is for Voyager to earn revenue from the interchange and rewards from merchants. That's huge, guys. So what this is basically saying, in case you're not sure, what this is saying is that as the consumer uses the Voyager digital debit card, and let's say they partner with Costco, they go to Costco and they use their Voyager digital debit card, not only does the consumer save, but also Voyager digital gets kickbacks for sending those customers. Really, the customers were going there anyway. They just used Voyager's card. But because they used Voyager's card, now Costco is going to end up paying Voyager for that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they actually are partnering with Costco, okay? I'm just giving you an example here of how this works. But the cool part about this is that this can scale huge, like unbelievably huge. Think about how many transactions happen every day. Just think about yourself. Like, think about how many times you buy something in a day or in a week or in a year, right? Now add all of that up and throw all the people in that are going to be using the debit card. This, even if it's a tiny amount per transaction, just a tiny fraction of an amount, that can end up scaling huge the more people that get the debit card. The next thing Steve goes on to say here is that we are processing and delivering a crypto solution to French citizens as well as other parts of Europe in 2022. And in Canada, we are working closely with the Ontario Securities Commission to deliver the Voyager offering to Canadian residents as well. Now, I think this is great. Obviously, you can never go wrong expanding your TAM. In case you don't know what that means, total addressable market. It's always a good idea to have everyone as your total addressable market. Now, another reason I think this is funny is that if any of you have ever watched the channel Daniel Finance, I think he just changed his channel name. I'm not sure what his channel name is now, but he loves Voyager Digital and he's in Canada. So I know that he's going to be really excited about Voyager Digital opening up in Canada. Now, I know I've been throwing so much good news your way, but get ready, here comes another one. Steve goes on to say our partnership with Market Rebellion, in case you didn't know, they partnered with Market Rebellion a while back. Our partnership with Market Rebellion to build an equity broker-dealer is progressing nicely. Not only do we have FINRA approval, which is great, we also have a signed clearing agreement. The clearing agreement is a necessary step to building the brokerage of the future as we leverage the clearing firm technology to deliver an equity trading offering. Steve just keeps throwing great stuff at us right here. Now, this is a really important thing to note right here. So technically, Voyager Digital won't be the clearing company. However, they're the ones that partnered with Market Rebellion and they're bringing them that business. Therefore, Voyager Digital gets a huge kickback for sending all that business through Market Rebellion. So that's just like you're getting royalties on all these different transactions. Great way to increase revenue and drive up profitability because this is going to be a very low maintenance type of revenue. Now, another really cool thing about this is that most people, whenever they send off their transactions to clear them, they actually have to pay a company to clear the transactions. Voyager's not going to have to do that. They are going to get paid to send people to send Market Rebellion their transactions. That's going to be awesome. A few of the honorable mentions in this call was actually that first, Voyager will actually be adding an NFT marketplace at some point, okay? They are going to be working on it. And this is what Steve said, our goal is to simplify NFT participation today and in the future. So hopefully we'll see that roll out soon. I hope so. Second, also, Steve continued to say, we continue to be the third highest ranked pure crypto app in the Apple Store and strive to gain traction, versus the two larger companies ahead of us. Now, I'm assuming that those two companies are Coinbase and Crypto.com. Those are the ones that I think. Now, I could be wrong on that. If somebody knows the answer to that, leave a comment in the comments below. But those are the companies I'm assuming are ahead of Voyager Digital. Third, they are also improving customer support. They have done a wonderful job increasing their team on the customer support aspect. That's huge, and I know it's been a big struggle for them over the past year, but the problem is that they're growing so quickly, it's so hard to scale your company and hire people at that rate, get them trained. I mean, think about your last job. Whenever you started, you had to train. It took time, right? And you had to learn the processes and the systems. Well, not only is Voyager having to do that, train those people and lead them into that position, but Voyager's just now figuring out what their actual processes are because they're such a new company. So I think they're doing a wonderful job with this. So time to touch on just a little bit of the drama happening in the industry. So in case you didn't know, the SEC started investigating a lot of these crypto brokerage companies. And one of the companies that they actually found was breaking the law, the securities law, was BlockFi. BlockFi actually ended up having to pay $50 million to the SEC and then also about $50 million in fines to like 32 different states. Now, the reason that they had to do this was because they didn't have the SEC's approval to be able to sell these types of securities. So they ended up having to pay a lot of money. Now, if you want more details about this, I can probably make a video on it. If you'd like, just leave some comments down below. But the good news is that Voyager, they believe that their products are not the same. And not to mention, if you've been following Voyager like I have for a while now, you know what is one of Steve's main missions is to always come into compliance with regulation. Regulation has been at the forefront of his mind ever since he started really growing this company. And that's wonderful because we already know he has the experience as the VP at E-Trade for several years. This man has lots of experience and he has lots of knowledge and lots of good connections around him to make sure that that company can stay in compliance with regulations. And that is what really is going to drive a lot of growth in this industry because it's so new and people are just kind of confused about what's happening. If they can stay compliant with all of these regulations, that's just going to tremendously help their company. I really think Voyager Digital has so many upsides to the business. I think it's on a path of tremendous growth. Obviously, we've seen what they've done with their revenue in 1 year, but I also believe that they are looking long term. They want to build this out. They want to become a giant. And I believe that Voyager Digital is going to be great for my portfolio in the long term. Now, in saying that, there's a lot of risks that you do need to take into consideration. You need to try to figure out what's going to be best for your portfolio and allocate appropriately. I wanted to make this video so that I could show you really how much is packed into these conference calls and why it's such an important way to further your investing career by digging into these conference calls and learning as much information about the company as you can. It is a great way to help yourself find great companies. I also know that you want to grow your portfolio just like Voyager Digital wants to grow their business. And that's why I put these videos up here for you so that you can help yourself in your investing career.